Hello, everyone, and welcome. Have you ever stood at a point in your life, a crossroads, and wondered which path to take? Well, today we're going to dive into a beautiful poem that talks about exactly that. It's a story about three ships, three different journeys, and the choices that define everything. So, as you can see, our lesson for today is from your Class 9 English textbook. We're looking at Lesson 9, The North Ship, written by the wonderful poet Philip Larkin. It's really a fantastic poem because it uses very simple pictures, simple images to talk about some very big ideas in life. The whole poem boils down to this: three journeys, three destinies, one big choice. It seems so simple, nah? Just three ships sailing out to sea. But, and this is the important part, you must not get fooled by this simplicity. Each ship, you see, is a symbol for a different path in life, a different choice we might make. And let me tell you, not all of them have a happy ending. So, before we set sail with these ships, let's first get to know the man who wrote this beautiful poem. Who was the captain of this creation? Let's find out a little bit about Philip Larkin. So, Philip Larkin, a very, very famous English poet and novelist. Now, what's so interesting is that The North Ship was his first book of poetry. So right from the beginning, his talent was there for everyone to see. He became really famous later, in 1955, with a collection called The Less Deceived. And get this, in 1984, he was offered the position of Poet Laureate, which is a huge, huge honor. But he said no, he declined it. That tells you something about him, doesn't it? His real gift was taking these big, complex emotions we all feel and putting them into very simple, easy-to-understand words. And that is exactly what we are going to see in this poem. Okay, so now that we know the poet, let us begin our journey. The first stanza is so important because it paints the entire picture for us. I want you to pay very close attention to how carefully Larkin chooses every single word. It's brilliant. The poem begins very simply with a personal observation. I saw. So the poet is making us stand right next to him, on the shore perhaps, and we are both watching these three ships as they start their big adventure. Now listen to this next line. Over the sea, the lifting sea. That word, lifting, what a fantastic word to use. It gives you this feeling of hope, of optimism, doesn't it? It's almost as if the sea itself is helping the ships, lifting them up and pushing them towards our future. It's a very positive image. And then he adds, and the wind rose in the morning sky. So just picture it. We have this hopeful sea, a strong wind coming up, and it's a new day, the morning. Everything seems perfect, nah? The stage is set for a great, successful journey. Anything seems possible at this moment. But then we get this very important clue. And one was rigged for a long journey. This tells us that one of these ships was special. It was prepared differently. It was built for a much bigger challenge. The poet is giving us a hint here about what's to come. So keep this particular ship in your mind, okay? It's very important. So we have a perfect morning, full of hope. We have three ships, and it feels like anything can happen. But where are they going? Well, as we are about to see, not all journeys are the same. Their fates are going to be very, very different. Okay, so the first ship, it turns towards the west. And look at the words the poet uses for the sea now. It's the running sea. Before it was lifting, now it is running. This suggests speed and easy, smooth movement. This journey seems to be very easy, very successful. And look, the wind does all the work. The ship was all possessed by the wind. It was just carried. There's no struggle, no effort needed at all. It's just an easy ride. And where does it go? To a rich country. So this represents a life of comfort, of easy success, no problems. But now, watch how suddenly the whole mood changes. The second ship, it turns east. And the sea, it's completely different. Now it is the quaking sea. Just feel that word, quaking. It's full of fear, danger, trembling. Suddenly, all that hope from the morning is gone, completely vanished. This chart really shows the difference so clearly, doesn't it? Look at this. For the first ship, the sea was running, but for the second, it was quaking. For the first ship, the wind carried it like a friend, but for the second ship, the wind hunted it like a beast. Just imagine that. Nature is not a helper here, it is a predator, an enemy. The first ship reaches a rich country, but the second one ends up in captivity. These are not just two journeys, they are two opposite ways of life. One is easy success, the other is terrible failure. You know, The real magic of this poem is in the words Larkin chooses. Every word is so powerful. So let's look at some of the keywords from our textbook's word nest to understand them better. So the first word is rigged. Remember this from the first stanza? And one was rigged for a long journey? This means it was specially equipped, specially prepared. It wasn't just any ship. It was designed for a purpose, for a difficult mission, right from the very start. Next, we have quaking. Now, your textbook says it means stirring. And yes, that's true. But in the poem, the feeling is much stronger, isn't it? It's not a gentle stirring like stirring tea. It's more like the ground quaking in an earthquake. It's a violent, dangerous trembling. And the last word here is captivity, which means imprisonment. This is such a final, terrible word. It's a dead end. The second ship's journey didn't just have some problems, it ended in a complete loss of freedom, a total failure. So let's just pause for a moment. Out of the 3 ships that started on that beautiful morning, we now know the fate of 2. One found wealth and comfort, the other found a prison. So to quickly recap what we've seen, 3 ships set sail on a hopeful morning. The first ship, heading west, found easy success. The second ship, heading east, was hunted down and trapped. These are 2 very different paths in life. But let's not forget, what about the third ship, the one that was rigged for a long journey? So the first 2 ships, you could say, they took the obvious paths, east and west. One was easy, one was dangerous. But what about our special ship, the one that was prepared for a challenge? It ignored both of those paths. The poem tells us it went north. And that is the main question of this entire poem, isn't it? Why choose the hardest path? The North has always been a symbol of the unknown, the difficult, the dangerous journey. So why would this third ship choose to go there? Well, the journey of this third, mysterious ship is what we will explore in our next class. It is the most interesting journey of all.